Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, and entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a very fun show for you guys, but before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to follow us on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. My name is Charles Tabanzi, and my IG handle is CTABANZ. And also make sure you follow Dreamerspro on Instagram. Our Instagram is Dreamerspro as well. And if you want the full show today, make sure you check out the Dreamerspro podcast we have in the comment section below. So let's just get into the topic here. Let's talk about the hottest thing right now in the NBA, and that's the Damian Lillard story, right? A story that caught a lot of us off guard, and by a lot of us, I'm talking about myself, because yesterday that was the last thing I expected us to hear about Damian Lillard being traded to all teams. Of all the teams in the NBA got traded to, he got traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. But funny enough, now that the dust is starting to settle, we're beginning to see various reports and videos of people saying that Giannis always wanted to play with Dame, that Dame always respected the game of Giannis Antetokounmpo. So it looks like this is something that both of these gentlemen have been looking for. And I said this in the live yesterday. I'm going to quickly say it here. I think apart from the fact that this is a good fit on the court, I think these guys may be a little bit kindred spirits. Here's what I'm talking about. Damian Lillard has always been one of those guys that wants to do it on his own and remain in a small market and establish his own, legacy there, right? Hence the reason he stayed in Portland, not one of the biggest markets in the NBA. If you look at Giannis Antetokounmpo with the Milwaukee Bucks, they're definitely not one of the biggest markets in the NBA. But Giannis brought a championship to that market, and I believe it actually increases his legend in the NBA. So to have both of these guys, because remember, Damian Lillard, I think a lot of the reports are saying that he really wanted to go to Miami. But here you have him in another small market with another star that thinks kind of the same way that he does. So to me, I thought that was a pretty interesting commonality that exists. But anyway, this morning I was doing some research and I came across an article from Fadeaway World, and they were basically highlighting the comments that Charles Barkley, of all people, had to make. And I was a bit surprised. I was skeptical. I'm like, Charles Barkley already commented on this already? Like, how's it possible, right? But apparently after going through the article, there's actually audio of Charles Barkley actually giving his take and basically putting the entire NBA on notice of what to expect from this Milwaukee Bucks team. But before we even get into that, this video is brought to you by a brand new sponsor, Athletic Greens. AG1 is a convenient nutritional supplement with 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food source ingredients that meet all of your foundational nutrition needs. Now, here's a quick personal story that I think that may resonate with a lot of you. I went to college in Italy, and actually that's where I met the co-founder, Dreamerspro Marco. And at that time, I was eating healthy whole foods, I was exercising regularly, and I was in the best shape of my life. Then life happened. I stopped exercising regularly. I started gaining weight because I wasn't able to exercise the way I used to and eat healthy the way I used to, because I was moving around to different countries. And before I knew it, I couldn't even recognize myself anymore. So for the last 2 years, I've been really trying to focus on regaining my health and getting back in tip-top shape. However, the biggest challenge that both Marco and I are having right now is that although we try to get the proper nutrition and do the right things to stay in shape and to stay healthy, other commitments somehow get in the way of us doing this. And to be honest with you, we find it hard to get enough servings of fruits and vegetables and other types of healthy foods to ensure that we're taking the right vitamins and minerals that are vital for good health. So we both started to take 1 scoop of AG1 in the morning with cold water to ensure that we're getting all of the vitamins, minerals, probiotics, and fiber that we need in our diet to enhance our mental health, our physical health, and performance. And Marco, who's always skeptical about taking new nutritional supplements, found it to be reassuring that AG1 is used by top health experts and performers like Andrew Huberman and Lewis Hamilton. So if a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/dreamers. That's drinkag1.com/dreamers. Check it out. And remember, when you try AG1 by using the link in the description below, just know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is want to play exactly what Charles Barkley had to say here, and then we're going to come back and get into the meat and potatoes of this video here. So take a listen to that.
We'd like to welcome in an MVP for the Phoenix Suns, one Hall of Famer, Charles Barkley, and Chuck, man, since Matt Ishbia took over with your Phoenix Suns, the owner. This team has been busy. So what do you make of the Phoenix Suns getting involved in this Damian Lillard trade?
Well, I'm not totally shocked. I'm shocked that he went to Milwaukee. So obviously Milwaukee should be the betting favorites now. You know, it's clear that the Suns had something was going on with DeAndre Ayton. And, you know, it goes back to there was an issue with Monty Williams and DeAndre. And now clearly it must have been something else going on in the organization. They clearly just want to get rid of him. But the big winner is the Milwaukee Bucks. And their general manager, they got a new coach. He's a young guy. I forget his name. Adrian.
Yep, Adrian Griffin. Yep.
Yeah, Adrian is man. He's got a great team to start. You know, I like what the Celtics did, going out getting Porzingis. But I think it's fair to say that the Milwaukee Bucks are the favorite going into the season to win the NBA championship.
And Chuck, with that being said, what is the biggest message for Adrian Griffin, knowing that Dame was a star in Portland, Giannis is used to having the ball in his hands, late game situation. What is that message for both guys to buy into we ball, because it used to be in me ball late game situations?
Well, I think it can benefit both guys because, number one, Dame has always had to do everything by himself. So it's going to be nice for him to play with somebody. Number one, let's don't leave out Chris Middleton. So I think it's going to be beneficial to both guys. You know, Giannis, I think the one thing he's going to have to learn to do, and I've always thought it was the one weakness of his game, he's got to learn to play without the basketball. It's going to make the game easier for him. You know, he used to bring it up going downhill. Now, if he get out on that wing, I think he's going to get a lot more easier baskets in the full court. And in the half court, him and Dame, man, and Chris. I mean, you think about it. When they won the championship, their pick and roll was Chris Middleton and Giannis. Now you're going to have Giannis and Dame. Man, that is going to be explosive. So Giannis, I think, is going to really help him, but it's going to definitely help Dame because he ain't going to have to do it all by himself. He's going to have two guys, not one. He's going to have two guys they can get a ball to, and he don't – like in Portland, anytime – you know, you go back and look at Portland, every big shot they've had the last 5 to 7 to 10 years has been him making a Hail Mary from half court. Now he can make that shot, but now he's going to have Giannis and Chris Middleton. So, man, it's a great day for the Milwaukee Bucks. And I'm not upset with what the Suns did. I mean, obviously, they already made their big move going out getting Bradley Beal. I think they're probably – well, I don't want to say they're the favorite in the West because, man, I love what the Lakers have done. I mean, you take your head off to what the Lakers have done this summer. I think them and the Suns are the two favorites because I really think the Nuggets lost some good players, man. I think the Nuggets lost some good players. I don't want to disrespect the champs. But if you ask me going in, I think the Lakers and the Suns are the two favorites in the West. In the East, it's the Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks.
So you heard what the man had to say about this team and what he thinks of their chances moving forward. Now, I want to take it a step further. Here are the reasons why I think this is a good trade, because some people are a little bit skeptical of it because they lost some key players, especially on the defensive end. To me, if you look at the Milwaukee Bucks, and I just want to quickly reference basketball reference, no pun intended. I want to reference some of the Milwaukee Bucks stats of last season. As you guys know, the Milwaukee Bucks, they had a regular season record of 58-24. They were the number one team in the Eastern Conference. That year, get this, they were scoring 116.9 points per game. That was 8 out of 30. They were 8th, right? Opponents' points per game was 14th. Offensive rating, they were ranked 12th, around the middle of the pack. But defensively, they were 4th. So whenever you bring in a guy like Damian Lillard, you're going to bolster your offense. And in the case of losing a Drew Holiday, let's do the reverse. Imagine if the Milwaukee Bucks last season, and we all know that Drew Holiday is an excellent basketball player. And by the way, if I'm the Clippers, I find a way to go after Drew Holiday. Some people are like, no, I would keep. Listen, his defense is underrated. I would find a way to go after Drew Holiday if I am the Clippers. That's just me. I think any team that gets him is going to get better. That's just my honest opinion. Anyway, back to this. Imagine if instead of going up against Drew Holiday, I'm talking about Jimmy Butler, imagine if he had to go with Damian Lillard. How much energy do you think Jimmy Butler would have to exert trying to guard Damian Lillard? Do you think Jimmy Butler was going to be able to shut down Damian Lillard? Can anybody shut down Damian Lillard, really, in a playoff series? Damian Lillard gives you so much of a premium on offense that I think it negates the loss of Drew Holiday on defense. Dame gives you what Dame gives you more or gives you on offense is greater than what Drew Holiday gives you on defense. And to me, I think Dame makes that offense way more dynamic. And I think he actually unlocks other players even more, especially players like Chris Middleton. Giannis, well, those days of doubling and all of that stuff, that's over. You're now possibly going to be seeing one of, or if not the most lethal pick and roll in the entire NBA. And if you're thinking of teams defensively trying to scheme for this team, it's going to be very difficult because, again, of the personnel. Because you now have to orchestrate your defense to be skewed in one particular direction when you're dealing with a Giannis on it. The way you guard Giannis is not the way you're going to guard Damian Lillard. And that's the reason why I said it's a good fit, because you have guys now on this team that do different things. I give you guys another example of what I'm talking about, why I think this offense is more lethal than others. Look at the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns, if you looked at the Clippers guarding them last year, they were pretty much able to switch on everything, right? Every time they could switch on every pick and roll, switch, play your man straight up. Well, on the Bucks, can you really? How many players are you going to switch off of and then end up with Giannis on you? How many times are you going to be? You can't do that. The only person physically capable, in my personal view, to be able to even have a chance against Giannis Antetokounmpo is probably Kawhi, but that's about it. So that offense is a little bit more predictable to guard. It's still very lethal, but in the case of the Bucks, you have players that do totally different things. And they now can score 3 levels consistently, from the 3, from the mid-range, and from the post. So to me, I think it's going to be a very lethal offense. I think Dame is going to be Giannis is going to benefit mightily. I think Giannis can even take his all-around game even to a higher level where he can focus more on rebounding, focus more on assists, and just play an overall game. Obviously, his points per game are going to go down, but it doesn't really matter because Giannis strikes me as someone that's transfixed on winning. So to what Charles Barkley said, this is a wake-up call to the rest of the league. If you hear him saying that Milwaukee and Boston are the 2 clear-cut favorites, I 100% believe it. In terms of his comments on the Lakers, and he said the Lakers and the Nuggets, I'm with him. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers are one of the top 3 seeds this season. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. So I think we're in for a hell of a season, and I just can't wait for it. So what I want to know from you guys is simply this. What are your thoughts on what Charles Barkley had to say about this trade and his expectations of this team going into the season? Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comments, and we catch you guys on the next show. Peace.